Harrison and all those guys. But, look, I think, to be honest with you, when you look at what Ryan Reeves got, only 2 games, I'm a little bit surprised that Scheifele got double that. I also think it's easier for the NHL to suspend the Winnipeg Jets' best player, or one of their best players, when they're trying probably to get Montreal into the next round, because Montreal's much better for TV ratings, and it'll be much better for the league if Montreal can keep playing and Winnipeg gets left at home. I mean, I honestly think that those things factor into it. I do. I wish they didn't, but I absolutely think that those are things that influence the decision-making that takes place at the NHL offices.
And since television viewing is way up in Canada, because everybody's stuck in their homes even now, you're right. They may want Montreal. But here's the thing. Normally there's a sequential part of this when it comes to discipline from that department. They normally don't give a 4-game out of the blue. It would take an awful big hit, and I thought that was a cheap shot. You can tell me all you want that he's trying to make a play there, but the bottom line is he never looked at the puck. He never tried to go for the puck.
He didn't make a play. He didn't, exactly.
He just went
There's no
exactly
stick poke
after,
there,
and those two,
check.
just so you know, they got into it earlier in the game too. So for, Scheifele, for all I know, is saying, well, you know what, you want to mess with me, I'll show you, but he got carried away. And I thought Ehlers did a really good job of fencing off people because he knew the severity of that situation. That was scary. He could have broken his neck on that play. So to me, 4, not enough. That's just me. 412-575-2600. So I want to get your take, too, on something we talked about at 4:15 today, Andrew. And that would be another thing that Hextall talked about, this expansion draft coming up with Seattle. So you're allowed to protect 6 forwards, 3 defensemen. Marino will be exempt, and 1 goaltender. So if you make a list, which I've done, and I've gone back and forth on some of it, let's talk about forwards first. To me, the choice comes down to Jeff Carter or Teddy Bluger. Does it for you? And if so, which do you protect of those two? Because Bluger, I think, still has a big part of their future.
I think so, too. I think there's a better chance they take Bluger over Carter, but would you want to run that risk? The other thing about that is, Carter, you could correct me if I'm wrong on this, he doesn't have a no-trade clause, right?
No.
Bob, that obviously got waived or whatever for him to come here. I don't think he had a full one anyways.
It's a partial, but it's not a full one, from what I understand.
Well, but here's the thing that I would wonder about, right? So we saw the way Vegas was wheeling and dealing when they were an expansion team. Would another team say to Seattle, pick Jeff Carter and we'll give you this player or this pick for him? I would not want to run that risk. I think if you lose Bluger, you can slide McCann in as a center, and you still have your 4 centers down the middle between Sid, Malkin, Carter, and McCann. You could expose Carter and keep Bluger and just keep your fingers crossed that they don't pick him. But of those 2 guys, who's more valuable to the Penguins next year in this win-now mode?
Right.
I think it's got to be Jeff Carter over Teddy Bluger, Bob.
I would agree with that, but I also, I like what Teddy Bluger brings, and he is so versatile at what he does. So let me ask you this. Defense, to me, protecting 3 is easy. It's Letang, it's Dumoulin, and it's probably Matheson. Is there anyone else there you would protect?
Well, Cece's a free agent. So he's out of there. I mean, right? I mean, he's not even eligible for this kind of thing.
Marino's not. He's not eligible.
Marino,
either,
you don't have to work. You don't have to worry about. I wouldn't mind if they. I wouldn't mind if Seattle picked Pettersson or Matheson, to be honest with you. And I say that about Matheson because that contract is just so big. It's really not a good deal. I thought he played okay. I think there were probably peaks and valleys with him. At the end of the day, you probably give him a favorable grade as a Penguins defenseman last year. But I don't think he's a guy that I would not be worried about losing him, I guess is the best way I could put it. But if you're forcing me to choose between Matheson and Pettersson, and I guess you are, I would keep Matheson over Pettersson. I would like to move on from Pettersson this offseason, Bob, if I could. But I don't think that that's going to be an easy contract to move, given the years and the money that's tied into it.
There's over $4 million tied to that. All right, so if it came down to a goaltender, you expose, let's say it's a choice between DeSmith and Jarry. You like DeSmith. Jarry, would you expose Jarry, number 1? And if so, do you think Seattle would take him?
I would expose him. I think that there's a small chance that Seattle would do it. I think it's very, very small. Just because I'm guessing that there's going to be cheaper goaltenders out there, younger ones, that they might want to. I don't think there's going to be a Marc-Andre Fleury, let me say that. A guy that's coming off a Stanley Cup win, and the price is right on him, and he can be the face of your franchise. I doubt that there's going to be that kind of player. But I probably would imagine there's going to be somebody who comes at a cheaper price, who's got starter pedigree, and somebody that makes sense as a backup over Tristan Jarry. To me, DeSmith at $1.5 million, they might take him. I mean, they might take him as their backup. Probably, again, not likely, but more probable than Tristan Jarry.
Right.
And I'm trying to get out of the Jarry contract this offseason, I guess is what I should pretty much come right out and say. I would love to get out from under that contract, and exposing him in the expansion draft might be one way to do that.
Tonight, the Pirates are at home. Miami came into town. A nice, warm, sitting ovation for Starling Marte of the 4,000-plus who were there. And he almost did a home run in this game. But Brian Hayes is the key thing here. Now, you know how important he is to the future. He's back, one game back. He has 2 hits.